Hello, Buffalo and friends.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to Gameday716. We are here. It is Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, just as we had planned. And you have all three of us, Todd, Noah, it's Game Day CJ.
What?
So let's start with the normal stuff. CJ, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well. I have a little kink in my shoulder, but otherwise I'm okay.
Well,
Oh, you just crack your neck too.
Yeah, I've always been envious of people that can do that.
Well, I can do that. I learned it when I first went to my first chiropractor,
Oh, I've never been to one.
and he didn't teach me how to do it, but he basically he would crack my neck, and so I kind of learned on my own.
I feel like once you
And
get
now
it,
I can like grab it and like twist it and all that stuff. And you like once he does it, you're like, oh, you really can't break your neck. You know?
Right. I also think that once it's done, like, you know, you're able to do it again. Like people always told me, like, once you do it once, you'll be able to do it. Like, you know, but I've just never, I don't know, pushed it far enough, I guess, to the point where I've been like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I actually had a chiropractor appointment this morning. They use lasers today.
Really?
Yeah.
What are those supposed to do?
I don't know, make my muscles feel better and radiate me and turn me into stretchy man.
Make you 3 inches taller?
Stretchy man. No. I'm gonna be called. Come on, what's
Mr. Fantastic?
Mr. Fantastic?
There you go.
Yeah.
God,
sorry.
that took too long.
Have you ever seen the Norm Macdonald skit about the Fantastic Five?
No.
Fantastic
Five? What? Are you okay today?
No, I'm not. My brain is like
Fantastic Five. Is Norm Macdonald the fifth? I don't.
No.
Like the off-brand version.
Yeah.
No, he's
pirated
Mr.
version,
Fantastic.
the pirated movie.
Oh, okay.
And
is it SNL or is it just?
It's
him?
just like a skit. It's like a comedy sketch. Just it's not even a video.
Like a Funny or Die or something like that.
Yeah, and they're like, you're a big hulking thing, rock thing of a thing, so we're gonna call you the Thing. And he's like, and you, well, you can light on fire and what can he do? Fly around.
Yeah. Human Torch.
And so we're gonna call you the Human Torch. And then what's
Invisible
Girl. Yeah,
Girl.
he's like, Invisible Woman, you could turn invisible. So we're gonna call you the Invisible Woman. And me, I'm Mr. Fantastic. They're all like, wait,
all you
what?
guys. Yeah.
What? And like they all have the top, and they're like, why do you get to be Mr. Fantastic? They're like, all you can do is like stretch your arms. And another guy's like, what about Mr. Stretchy Arms? They're like, yeah, I like that. He's like, no, I'm Mr. Fantastic. I'm Mr. Fantastic.
No.
If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Please,
really
please. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll enjoy that.
Especially if you like Norm, because it's right up. Yeah. It's right up his comedy.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot for sure.
Yep.
Grew up with him, you know what I mean? Like
totally.
Yeah.
I hear you.
All right. What do we want to start with?
We're already started. How are you?
What topic do I'm fine? What topic do we want to get to?
I just wanted to know how you are.
I'm good.
Why can't you love your father?
Can we just start a topic, please?
So Sabres development camp occurred over the past week. Did you get to anything?
No.
CJ, did you head out there?
Where?
This is Sabres development camp.
Oh no, I you know, I was gonna and yeah, the Canal Fest came up. Or the Italian Fest or anything else, I guess.
Yeah, so there were a lot of young Sabres there, including Owen Power, the future Josh Allen of the Sabres.
It's the savior of the Sabres.
The savior. Yes.
If you're saying he's Josh Allen, you know.
He is. I truly believe this. He has the same demeanor, like that same way he talks, like the same way he plays. I don't know. There's just a feeling you get when you watch him play that you get when you watch Allen play. You know, like he's just so much better. Like, and we've always felt that about Allen. Like, you're just so much better. Like, how is this possible? You know, and then it's like, okay, he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so strange. And I think that that's going to happen with Owen Power with the Sabres. I do think that's going to happen. And he'll be battling Cal McCarr for the Norris for the next 15 years.
Everybody needs a Cal McCarr, right?
Right. He's a little different than Cal, but it's not fast and speedy, and he's big and fast and speedy. Other guys who were there, JJ Paterka, Jack Quinn.
Yeah.
The rookies, all the rookies were there.
Yeah. Savoy was still hurt.
Savoy didn't practice.
Cousins traveled from his house in British Columbia to the camp.
Doesn't he live in Yukon? Maybe he moved. I mean,
I don't know. Whatever. He came from wherever he was staying at the moment and came down to camp to talk to the guys, to the young guys.
Yeah, and he's only 23, 22. Yeah. So Dylan Cousins, future Sabre leader.
Yeah, Granado already asked him to mentor some of the guys.
I bet he gets an A this year.
Oh, yeah. What else?
Ryan Johnson.
Devin Levi was there.
He looked awesome. Portillo
looked terrible, but he had also just been through an NCAA season. And apparently, like every development camp, they pick like one group to like beat the crap out of. And this time it was the goalies.
Yeah, but Levi like stoned them.
Yeah, but Levi also didn't go make it all the way to the end.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Levi did not make it as far as
that shootout was the last thing that happened. The shootout with Quinn.
No, I meant in the NCAA playoffs. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, you were confusing me.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
Francois James Bouteau was there.
Cool.
No, but I mean, real guys. Aksari Laxonen, guys, Lyakson, Matthias Samuelson was there. I guess the surprise goalie was that Zach Stejkai. I forgot how to say it. Stejskal. I do this.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
We get hung up on it.
But he is from University of Minnesota Duluth. He played as a freshman and had like amazing numbers. And then he got hurt for his sophomore year. So Duluth had a senior who they played. And then it was University of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So it was the guy who won the Hobie Baker.
Okay.
And then and then he was a camp invite for this development camp because you get invites,
Yeah.
even though you don't have them signed,
Mhm.
I guess. And I guess he looked like really, really good from a goalie standpoint. I think Portillo's going to walk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we think that. I think that was part of him playing poorly was he just doesn't care at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys who are going to walk, we could talk about Ryan Johnson being there.
Yeah, they wanted to bring him in and be like, this is what we're about. This is the organization. These are the things, you know, these are the coaches.
Well, they've been
this
working
is
them for
this,
3
this is
years
that.
now, right? So
Yeah, but this was like the first time they got to like bring him in, I guess,
yeah,
and show them like the facilities and stuff and be like, you know, this is how we operate.
right. We learned about the Czech Mafia,
Yeah.
right? The new thing within the Sabres. The Czech players have all banded together to start the Czech Mafia, which is kind of cool. I heard Isaac Rosen talking about it and he was talking about how Pekar had been helping him to learn English and stuff, and that all they did was like watch movies and all
That
this
makes
stuff, and Pekar was like, "This is what this means. This is what that means, etc., etc." Other interesting guys who were there: Josh Bloom, who's gonna probably be with the AHL team with Rochester. Those guys.
Mhm.
Hughlin, another guy who's going to be with the AHL. Krebs was there. We know he's got a spot with the Sabres. Quinn, Paterka, like we said. It's pretty much it of the interesting players. So the 3-on-3 tournament at the end,
Yeah.
were shutouts, which angered some people, but made Granato really happy. Because he said it shows how good the defense can be and how good Levi's going to be. So I think that's kind of cool in a sense. I mean, having shutouts and going to shootout. Well, they were going to do shootouts no matter what, but
to still bring it to there shows the future that's bright.
So bright you got to wear shades.
Yeah.
Oh, I set you up and you didn't do it.
I didn't think about it.
The surprise player of the camp was Yuri Kulik.
Yeah.
Part of the Czech Mafia.
Yeah, only problem with him is he wants to take on like the whole team at the same time.
Like fight them?
No, like he'll be bringing in the puck and he'll have like 3 guys in front of him and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna try to skate by you," and then nope, you lose the puck. An
interesting development that sort of came out of camp, or that was happening like right before camp, was that they signed all 3 of the first round picks.
Yeah.
I found that really interesting, in the sense that, usually the Sabres in the past have always waited on those guys. And these guys, they clearly think, well, 2 of the 3 are NHL ready. Olsland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Osland.
I think it's Osland. No,
yeah,
Osland.
he is. Yeah. He has 2 years left on his deal in Sweden.
Yeah.
So they said he's going to play in Sweden for the next 2 years and then come over.
Right, which won't start his contract. So they'll have him under contract right away.
Right.
He's ready to come over.
Right. So that'll be exciting. So let's slide into some interesting news about Matthew Tkachuk from the Calgary Flames. So Calgary loses Johnny Gaudreau in free agency to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Huge surprise that he went to Columbus. Not a huge surprise they lost Johnny Gaudreau. Gaudreau had 104 points last season.
Family issues.
He has family issues.
That's why he left Calgary. That's why. Yeah.
Huh. Who knew?
But
You did.
Families have issues.
Yeah.
What?
That's crazy.
Right.
because like Calgary like rolled out the red carpet. They were like, we'll give you a lot more money, we'll help with your family, like whatever. And he was like, nah, I gotta go.
Just to get away from his family.
No, like
To
he has
reset
to
up
take
his family
somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, he was originally gonna go to New Jersey.
They must not like it or something.
Okay. So
Yeah.
but then at the 11th hour, Columbus called. And he took the Columbus deal instead.
Well, again, in his press conference, they were like, "Why Columbus?" And I got kind of offended by that because Columbus and Buffalo are often compared to each other.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and that's kind of what Gaudreau said. He's like, "I'm here to play hockey. I'm not here." He goes, he actually said, "I'm here to play hockey. I'm not here for the scenery." Or
Right.
something,
Yeah.
which wasn't the greatest thing to say during your initial press conference, but who cares?
I kind of like it. Yeah.
I
want people
So,
saying
yeah,
that in Buffalo, like, you know what I mean?
What?
I want people saying that if they come to Buffalo, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, like, I don't want them to shit on the town and say, yeah, it's terrible, but I don't want the Mike Shanahan response either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which was like, Buffalo, my wife would never allow us to go there or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't know if you remember that a long time ago.
No, I do. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of like people got all offended about Von Miller saying, like, what he was going to sign with LA and then.
No, he's going to sign with the Cowboys.
That's right.
And then we offered a lot more money. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes.
And he's like, so I came to Buffalo for the money.
I'm like, if we never offered the contract, he would have just been like, this would have never been a thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. Right. Of course, you're going to take more money.
Right. Well, especially at his age.
Well, you got out of the situation in Denver, right? And you got traded. And then you wanted to become a free agent, right? Like, you wanted to test the market. Now, I'm pretty sure his initial intentions were to go back, but then it's like, but we wait and see what happens. And I think that watching that documentary, like, they were kind of surprised when the Bills offered what they offered. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
in my opinion, like, he was like, okay, yeah, no, you take that. Like,
right.
There wasn't much of a question after he heard that number, in my opinion.
Right. It's like winning the lottery and turning it down.
Yeah, and then exactly. Getting the most money from a team that's competitive. Come on, we can't.
No, it looks like you have some news about Gaudreau.
Yeah, so I mean, in his letter that he penned in the Players Tribune to the Calgary fans, he talks about how him and his wife felt it was going to be very hard to continue living as far away from our families since they're going to be starting their own. They are both from the Jersey Shore area, so it would make sense that he wants to go to New Jersey.
He looks like he's from New Jersey too, doesn't he?
But it also makes sense why he wants to take the deal with Columbus, because that's still kind of a distance to Jersey. But if all of his family is in America, they don't need to be vaccinated to get over the border. And to get into Canada, you need to be vaccinated.
And New Jersey.
Right.
Not really.
No.
So back to Gaudreau left.
I bet that's the reason.
Gaudreau left, and the Flames are starting to lose talent, right?
Yeah. Because now Tkachuk doesn't want to stay because Calgary doesn't want to give him a long-term contract, for whatever reason.
And Tkachuk is their best player, even with Gaudreau on the team. Would you say Tkachuk is their best player?
Yes.
100%?
100%. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, he's insanely good.
Okay. So with Tkachuk being their best player and now saying he wants out, Calgary has a year and a half to trade him. Right? So
Yeah.
so they're gonna wait for the deal.
Wait, no, they're in arbitration.
They're in arbitration.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Calgary asked for the arbitration because they don't want to give him the long-term deal. So they were hoping by going to arbitration that either they're going to trade him, they're going to find somebody to trade him with, or they're going to go with Calgary and they're going to award him like a 1-year deal that will give them the option to trade him. But essentially the relationship between Calgary and Tkachuk is over. Like, I highly doubt we'll ever see Tkachuk put on a Flames uniform again. Like,
That's fair. That's fair. So it initially came out that Tkachuk had 5 teams he would go to. That was shot down. I think the 5 teams were
St. Louis, Florida, Las Vegas, Anaheim, Dallas, Nashville. That's 5.
That was 6, but
Yeah, well,
whatever.
I think Anaheim maybe was.
Anaheim wasn't on there. Yeah. So then it came out that wasn't true. So that puts the Sabres back in the running. So the question is, and we're going to have different answers on this, I think, is should the Sabres trade for Matthew Tkachuk?
Yes.
And I disagree. For a couple of reasons, but I'll let you state your case first.
You want to go first, CJ?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I was on.
Should they trade for Matthew Tkachuk?
Like, I don't know, when you sent out Cousins and like another piece or two, like maybe younger guys, whatever, like I was okay with that. But I mean, and then I read a few more when we were adding a little bit more to it, and once, at a certain point, I don't want to give up too much of what we've already built. And I know it's not even like we built that much, but at the end of the day, the team has started to come together at the end of the last year. I don't want to mess that flow up. I don't want to, you know what I mean? So giving away too much would kind of, and I honestly, like, even Cousins at this point would be probably not very well liked in the move wouldn't be liked in the locker room if they got rid of him. You know what I mean?
I agree with that, especially with him coming down and mentoring all these young guys, and then the Sabres jettisoning Cousins right after he does all that to show some leadership.
Yeah.
So, Noah, I'll let you state your case.
Yeah, I think I don't know why you wouldn't, honestly. Sure, Cousins might be a little bit much, but I mean, if you could do it with Olofsson, Middlestat, Ryan Johnson, and what picks do they have? And
they have a ton. They have like 4 second-round picks next year.
Okay, so conditional. Give him 2 second rounds, enough conditional first. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. He's 24 years old. Your entire roster is basically people under the age of 24. I mean, your average roster age is 23.7, which ties you for first in the league. I think your average forward, it's either forward or defenseman age is like 20.
Yeah.
Which is first in the league.
Or last, depending on.
Yeah, whatever, how you want to look at it. Right. You're the youngest. You're basically the youngest team in the league, like across the board. So like bringing in Tkachuk to me shouldn't be something that should mess up the momentum, because I mean he was also a leader in Calgary. I'm pretty sure he's
the captain.
Right, he was the captain there, so he would be bringing that in. You're bringing another guy like Tuck, in my opinion, who brings that leadership, who brings that ability of knowing how to win, being there before, being in the playoff opportunities, big games, times that count, and you're bringing that leadership again. And if you have to do it for a few pieces that allows guys like Berterka, guys like Quinn to actually have a shot to make this team, I think you do that.
I would rather give up Berterka and Quinn than Cousins.
Okay, maybe you don't do it for Cousins, but if it was Cousins and like Ryan Johnson in a first,
okay, I want to take Ryan Johnson off the table because he has zero value. Zero. He's in his walk year. No team is going to want a player in their walk year when they're going back to college. And then at the end of the season, he can decide wherever he wants to go.
Okay, Dylan Cousins and a mid-level prospect and a first-round pick. That's not a lot.
Did you consider Johnson a mid-level prospect? Because he was a first-round pick. Yeah. I would rather hold on to Johnson, let him walk, and then when he walks, you get a compensatory.
Okay, but if Calgary was like, we want him, or or if a team came to you and was like, we'll give you X for him, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Well, it depends on what X is.
Okay, X isn't a second-round pick, but it's like a fourth.
Why would you do that?
Do you have a guarantee he's going to sign with somebody?
Yeah. He was a first-round pick. What do you think? He's going to just retire?
I don't know. He could just not be. Nobody could just want him. That could also just be an opportunity. Then you could give up.
I'm taking that off the table too because he has a very high ceiling, and there's no one you would talk to in hockey world who would say Ryan Johnson will not be in an NHL system next year.
Okay. Then he's off the table. Cousins and Laskinen. Cousins and Fitzgerald, then Laskinen. Cousins
doesn't cut it. Like, you're talking about Matthew Tkachuk.
Okay, why are you overvaluing Matthew Tkachuk though, who doesn't have a contract and all you're getting is his rights?
Because in order for them to
why are you acting like Calgary has any say in what they should be getting back? Because he's not re-signing with them. He said to them, I'm not re-signing with you. You're going to have to train me. Thanks. He said, I don't care what the arbitrator said. I'm not playing for you. That's what he said to them. He said, I'm not re-signing with you. So you got to trade me. So how does Calgary have any say in anything that occurs besides being like, okay, yeah, we need a little bit more? Because every single team could just go like, okay, you let him go to free agency then. Good luck. You're not going to get anything. Because if they don't, it's the Jack Eichel thing all over again.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And the Sabres got a haul for Jack Eichel.
Yeah, thank God we have Kevin Adams. Is Brad Trelvig that trustworthy? Cool, he created that team, but he's just lost Johnny Gaudreau because he couldn't do enough to convince them to stay, and now he's lost Matthew Tkachuk because he lost Johnny Gaudreau. Are you trusting that guy to be able to bring Matthew Tkachuk back into the fold? No.
Well, we don't know what Calgary's stance is. We don't know if they want to tear down or if they want to rebuild.
Well, Calgary's stance right now is we don't want Matthew Tkachuk on the team either. So how did they have any remote say past we want him off our team?
Because they have his rights.
Right, they have his rights, but then they could just lose him for nothing.
I don't think that's true. I think if he doesn't sign a contract, that it just rolls over.
Well, I mean, if it goes all the way through arbitration, he'll get the what the arbitrator awards, and that'll be his contract.
Okay, then he's sitting there, and if a team,
the only person that's rushing this is Tkachuk because he wants it done before the arbitration. Because if he gets the contract awarded from arbitration, then that's the contract.
Right.
So if a deal doesn't get done before then, but if you're Tkachuk, you can also sit there and say, I'm not going to play on the contract.
Well, why would you say that?
Because you don't want to play for them.
So he was making $7 million. He's gonna get nine and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
It just depends on the years. He wants long term. But An arbitrator can award whatever they want. An arbitrator can be like, you get a 1 year, $1 million contract, no matter what.
They won't do that.
But they won't do, obviously, yes.
I mean, that would end up in court. That would end up like with CBA, with the NHL shutting down.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I'm just saying.
So,
I mean, Calgary elected for the arbitration. It's not like Tkachuk said, I'm not getting what I want from Calgary. Calgary were the ones where like, we're not getting what we want from you. We want to go to arbitration.
Okay.
And then Tkachuk went to them and said, I don't want to play for you anymore.
Because they went to arbitration.
Right.
Right, but that locks him in with the team for 1 more year. Unlike Gaudreau.
Right.
So it gives them a year to move him.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, if Calgary Calgary will either have to take a deal at the 11th hour, which is honest. That
no one, I'll again, I won't say this one with 100% certainty, but there are, I find it hard to believe that there aren't teams who would want Tkachuk by November.
Right.
If not by day one.
Yeah. I think there are teams who
so
want
teams
Matthew
aren't going to
Tkachuk
sit and wait till the trade deadline.
Okay, but if Calgary, but I'm saying, I feel like you're acting like Calgary is going to sit there and try to wait for the best deal when, like, if I'm Calgary, I don't think that you should do that. Because I think there's a very large chance that no matter what contract gets awarded, Tkachuk just sits out a year and goes, I don't want to play for you.
But
You won't
what's
give me
to
what I
say
want.
he won't do that with the team he gets traded to?
Because it's not Calgary.
So you think he'll play for 29 other teams?
Yes.
Whoever he goes to.
Correct. That's generally, that's generally what happens when you have players who say, like, this same scenario. It's about the team. It's not about them wanting to play hockey or whatever that would like be. I guess. Like, it just doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure he has his list of teams where he wants to go, but I'm sure wherever he goes, he isn't going to treat them like they're Calgary and be like, I'm not going to play for you because I just don't want to be here.
So here's my problem with trading for Tkachuk. You're going to have to give up too much. You're going to. You're going to have to. The Sabres have been drafting. They have been stocking the cupboards. They have been working this in a certain way and working along this path. You talk about him being 24 and fitting in age-wise. That's fine. But you have to think about the $9.5 million or more that you're going to have to give him as a long-term contract. You have to consider that when you have all these guys coming up.
Right, which is where then you could either move Olofsson or Middlestat and
okay,
get that
but
money.
those guys aren't enough for Tkachuk.
Well, I'm not saying them alone. I'm actually saying them together.
It's not enough.
Plus additional.
Look, the only way the Sabres are going to get Tkachuk is if they take on Monahan's contract. Like, if they get Tkachuk for guys like Olofsson and Middlestat and things like that. And I don't think they can trade Olofsson right now because they just signed him.
Whose contract?
Monahan. Calgary is like...
They have one... He has 1 year left.
Well, I'm just saying...
$6.3 million.
I mean, fine. And maybe that's what you want to do. But it's not... Still, you're speeding up the process by doing that. I know what you're saying.
Are you?
Yes, you are.
Okay, but by how much? I mean, does Matthew Tkachuk bring you that much where you're going to make the playoffs next year? Because to me, that's speeding up the timeline. They make the playoffs next year. Does Matthew Tkachuk do that? No.
Why not?
I don't think
or you're trying to speed up the timeline. And that's what they're not trying. That's what they're not doing. They're not Tim Murraying this. They're not going to clear out their prospect pool to get a high-end player right now.
I just don't think you need to clean out your prospect pool. I don't think.
Well, I mean, that's where we just value Tkachuk differently. He's a captain. He scored 100 points, I think, this year. I mean, he's a hitter. He's a leader. He's everything you want in a hockey player, right? I mean, he's a first line left winger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 104 points last year, 62 assists.
Playing with Gaudreau.
Right. And who's that center? It's not Monahan. I don't know.
No.
It's somebody really good.
Monahan wasn't there. Not Backstrom. It's the guy who I always confuse with Backstrom. Who might retire.
Here's what the Sporting News says. We're one of the top 4 trade destinations for Tkachuk.
Okay.
Buffalo has 9.5 left in cap space, with plenty of room to bring in and sign Tkachuk, but they also don't need to worry about dumping contracts. They do have some RFAs next season to worry about in Thompson and Cousins, but the team has been built around players on entry-level deals and veterans on short, cheap deals, so it won't be an issue. That's true. You lose Arposo next year. You lose Girgensons next year. You lose Hinson-Stroza, Bork, Bjork. Yeah, you lose.
I thought Bjork was on a 2-year deal.
Nope. Andersons. I mean, all that will add up, but that $6 million from Okposo next year will definitely free up a lot of room there. And then in terms of prospects, the Sabres have a ton. Want a forward, Crane, Peterka, Rosen are all top-end talent, need a goalie. This is where you trade UPL.
Damn Markstrom.
So what? Who's his backup?
Daniel Vladar.
Oh. Who's in the minors for them?
I have no idea.
You have Markstrom.
Yes, and you have they have Markstrom signed for $6 million through 25-26.
Yeah. That's 4 seasons. They have Vladar for 1 more.
Yep.
And in the minors, the goalies are Dustin Wolf and Oscar Dansk, who's 28.
Well, Wolf is good.
Yeah, Wolf's on an entry. But
I just have a hard time. I have a hard time with it. Backlund.
Yeah.
He was their center. He's their youngest player.
Who's
Tkachuk.
Yeah, they're built the other way.
I don't know. I just struggle with it. If they get rid of Tkachuk, then they're just clearing out. They're just clearing house and starting over.
Yeah, they don't have a choice at this point.
But there aren't a lot of teams. I mean, when you look at their contracts, their top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contracts are all over $4.25 million.
Okay.
And that's just forwards. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 defensemen who are basically over $4 million. And then they have Markstrom. So what teams are there who can take any kind of those contracts on?
And they have $18.45 million in cap space. So this is where if you're the Sabres, you're trading, I don't know, probably a low-level guy, or you're trading, you're trading prospects like this article was talking about, but you're trading not even your top prospects.
Is that what the article said?
Yeah, it doesn't include Power, Krebs, or their 3 first-round picks from 2022. It thinks it can get it done
So they think Krebs is a high. Do you think Krebs is a higher prospect than Cousins?
I don't think Cousins is a prospect anymore.
Okay. Do you think Krebs is a higher ceiling than Cousins?
Yes,
Including
because
the intangibles.
see the problem with Cousins is I feel like we know his offensive game. Like it is what it is. Sure,
I
he can
disagree
fix.
with that.
Sure, he can fix the turnovers, but like his charging in hard, shooting hard, really good passing, really good skating around. That's his offensive game. Sure, he can fix the turnovers, but like in terms of that changing, sure it can maybe get improved. Like he can be a better but it blossoming into something, I don't know if it's going to get more than that. But his defense, absolutely. I think that has to greatly improve. But I feel like with Krebs, like he's just a different player than Cousins is. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Really. Oh, they're very different
because
types of players.
It's like with Cousins, I feel like I'm not saying like he's there, like he's hit his ceiling, but like I feel like we know what he's gonna be, and like he's currently just at this level right now.
Do you think he'll stay a top six forward?
I think he'll stay a top six forward until like he's like in his early 30s. Because I feel
then you hold on to him. You have a top six forward.
Yeah.
Do you think Krebs is a top six?
If he can stay healthy, yeah. I just worry about I think he needs to bulk up because he's really small. But I mean, if he can use that, and that's what I think he could be.
I mean, I agree with you, and I'm sorry, CJ. We'll get to the Bills in a second, but I agree with you about the sense that the Sabres have a lot of high-end forwards. But wouldn't you rather trade one for a right-handed defenseman?
But I feel like when it's like this type of opportunity, though, where it's like Calgary's in a really bad spot, Tkachuk doesn't want to be there.
I guess I would have to see what they get,
and
or what they could give up. Because if I'm Calgary, I'm sitting there, I'm asking for Quinn, I'm asking for Peterka, I'm asking, fine, if you want to throw Ryan Johnson in there, even though he's worthless, then fine. I mean, just to get him off your roster. But I think they're still going to work Johnson for the next year to try and get him on their team.
Well, yeah.
Right? And it's just players like, I don't know, players who play at the University of Minnesota like to sign with Minnesota. So the only team who I can see the Sabres trading with is Minnesota.
Okay.
Trading Ryan Johnson to Minnesota.
Oh, he played for Michigan, didn't he?
No.
What? I thought he played for Michigan. What? So who am I thinking of?
Owen Power?
Is there not another Michigan defenseman? Oh my God.
I don't think there is.
Wow. Okay.
So you're not even thinking of Ryan Johnson. So Ryan Johnson, again, first round draft pick, top of the line, offensive ready. Yes, he's another left-hander, but he's got speed, agility, all this stuff.
And I think you could get something out of him for his rights.
Yes.
If you could get the team.
If he walks, you get a second round compensatory pick.
Yeah, but
that's what you get when a first round player walks.
Well, I mean, like, I think if a team comes to you and is like, hey, we'll give you the same
type of player.
Yeah.
Who's under contract.
Right. I wouldn't
then
be like,
you consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Right. Be like,
but the Sabres are deep at defense. They're like 8-9 deep right now. Yeah. I mean, it's just hard for me to see it. It's hard for me to put it together. I guess, and that's where I have a problem. And
I just feel like it's like you just it's like, yes, okay, we love these guys, we love these young guys, we love how they play, but it's like also you have the opportunity to go get a guy who's been an all-star since he came into the league, scored 104 points last year, 60 some of those points were assists, 40 some were goals. Like, to be able to bring that into your roster and to a guy who's been to the playoffs, to a guy who's led the team. Like, it's not like, I feel like, yeah, okay, maybe we're losing Quinn, we're losing Paterka, but at the same time, it's like you're gaining Matthew Tkachuk. So it's like you're
I
what
would
are
say
we waiting?
I would
Like,
say
are
no on
those the
Paterka
same?
when you have guys calling him a unicorn with skills and all of that stuff that you've never seen in a player put together.
Yeah, I'm good with not giving up Paterka, but like, is Jack Quinn that special?
Well, he's got a wicked shot. I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to score goals, that's important.
I mean, do you still need UPL? Like,
No, UPL can go, but what value does he have?
he has value.
You know who he has value with? Terry Pagula. Anyway.
I just feel like you could formulate this right where it's like it's not that terrible.
Would you give up Tuck? That's the first player on my mind who I'm sitting there going, that would be okay.
Yeah. Because, like, you could move. Come on. Where are you? Jeez. I mean, yeah. I don't know. That's not that terrible in my mind. Put Jack Quinn there. Like,
Quinn and Tuck. And Luukkonen. And then, I don't know, one of those first round picks, or one of those second round picks that can be converted into a first if the Sabres make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like that's not that terrible.
No, that would be fine. People would freak out about losing Tuck for a little while.
But you're getting
Tkachuk.
Like,
Tuck.
That's my thing.
You're getting Tkachuk for Tuck.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, if you can replace Tuck with Tkachuk, I'm fine with that because they're similar players, and Tkachuk is like 8 levels above Tuck when it comes to that. The type of player they are. But the Sabres don't have other guys who you can replace what they have if you get rid of them.
Yeah, which is why it would have to be prospects, and you're just going,
Right.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know.
If they do it, awesome. Because I'd love to see the Tkachuk brothers play each other 16 times a year. I think that would be amazing.
So many fights.
Anyway. 50 days.
Dun 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 dun.
Do you know what it's 50 days until, CJ?
Got to be the start of the season, or
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so we have to get our fantasy draft together.
Yeah, no, the kids want to play. Malia will do it too. So if you just want to do like a family one, and I'm even cool if we just do like $20 or something like that. I don't care.
Okay.
If you don't, we don't have to.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have a regular one, high scoring, and then we can do a separate one.
We can do a separate one for the kids. I mean, because Barrett and Layla wanted to play too.
All right. My sons love it, so it's up to you.
Yeah, we can do something simple for the kids. That would be really cool. But we still need one more adult for our adult league.
Yeah, Mia's good. She's good.
Oh, okay, cool.
She knows how to play. She's been playing for years.
Okay, awesome. So sorry we ran so long. It
was an interesting. It was an interesting subject. And
Good.
you guys have passion for it, and it's good to
Yes.
watch.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate your patience and your passion for our show.
Passion.
The three of us, our show that we put together. So you gave us an interesting stat today.
With the betting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was real cool.
So the betting stat that you gave us,
According to Caesars Sportsbook, the Bills have drawn more bets to go undefeated than the 31 other teams combined. Bills have gotten 19. Rest of the NFL have gotten 14.
are they going undefeated?
No,
Definitely not.
but it would be cool.
It would be. And you know what? That's something I haven't thought about.
And does
Well, I think with the Rams and Chiefs, it's like that's so tough. You know what I mean? Like to just beat both of them is, I mean, it's possible. I don't want to say it's not possible, but watching how flat we came out against certain teams last year, Jacksonville, Indy, you know what I mean? Like teams we should have beaten. That's where my concern would be for as far as why they wouldn't make 17.
Okay, I'll ask this. Their over-under is 11.5 wins on DraftKings. What are we taking on that? They got to 11 last year.
Didn't I always go down or did I go up as the season went? I can't remember. Like we started at one point and then like right before I went down. Like so I'm gonna go with high because
I had 11 wins last year.
Yeah.
And you guys all laughed at me and thought that was too low.
Yeah, but then I changed it, I think.
Yeah, then you started to agree with him.
Yeah, then I went lower. And then it ended up being closer to that, I think. I started to be like, no, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I think I'm going with the over this year.
I'm going to go with the over this year. But I don't think it's going to be...
I got to look at the line.
I think it's going to be like 12.
I was thinking 13.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like 15-2. It's going to be like 12-5, 13-4. Yeah. I think as high as they'll get is 13-4. I think that's like a
ceiling.
Yeah.
I think the ceiling is 14.
Damn. You're saying yeah. I mean
if Allen stays healthy all season, I think they'll have some bumps in the road early on because just dealing with Dorsey and I don't know if you guys knew, but Brian Dable left.
That's a storyline I didn't think of.
Yeah. There's a lot of fans out there are not thinking about how the offense is going to work without him.
Yeah.
So it's a great point.
But so Dable left. They have a new offensive coordinator, new offensive quarterbacks coach, bunch of new guys in the front office, which really doesn't matter for the season. Well, it does because a quarter of your team gets overhauled throughout the season.
NFL's a business.
It's a business. All right.
Man, 14 wins. Just like
14 is the ceiling.
I know 14 is the ceiling, but that's even like a high ceiling to me. Like that means like they only lost 3 games. Oof. And like I'm not trying to be like
but here I am. Okay, this is where I'm at.
You're on it.
I'm on it.
On that wagon.
I got 13.
I'm on it.
You're not just circling them. You're on the wagon.
I'm on.
You're
the
the one making the wagon go in a circle.
That's right. That's right. I'll smack the horses and drive the wagon if we need to. But like you have the best quarterback in the league. One of the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Allen and Mahomes.
Everybody else.
Everybody else. Zach Wilson's up there. But like, I think the Patriots are going down. I think you can beat the Patriots twice. You can beat the Jets twice. You may split with Miami.
Like,
I think they can go 5-1 in the division. I'll say that. If not 6-0.
I think 6-0 is the ceiling. And I think
Well, of
the
course
worst,
it is.
yeah, but I think the worst. I think though that the worst they could do is 4-2.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see
I
a
think
fluky. I could see them losing one to the Patriots, and then I could see a fluky Jets or Miami.
My deal with the Patriots is I think Mac Jones is just gonna fall.
See, everybody says that like he's plateaued, and it's like, do we expect?
But I
Belichick
said
to
it
let
first.
that happen?
It's plateaued.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I was.
I
on
think
that
he's
train
going
too,
back
but
down.
I was kind of like, I don't know.
No, I'm not there yet. I mean, I haven't seen enough of him yet to say that he's peaked.
That's just tough for me to count.
They just traded N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
But they have what's
Maybe
his
like
name? Who went there?
Devontae Parker.
Okay. I mean, he's not bad for a young quarterback, if I'm being honest. A big target. You know, he might not have the speed to go downfield, but he'll chain move.
Parker?
Yeah.
I love Parker as a receiver. I thought he was one of the most underrated receivers in the league.
Yeah.
When he was in Miami. Like
Well, he never had
you said,
quarterback.
moves the chains, runs good routes.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to connect. I mean, you hope that they have a connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be the only person there that's going to have to be forced. You know, it's like, well,
right.
that connection will make or break the year.
Right.
Yeah. And then in like Miami, the Tyreek Hill and Tua connection will make or break the year.
We know Tua can throw 50.
Yeah, okay. But like
60 yards.
Hearing Tyreek say all that stuff, I don't want to say obviously that Tyreek Hill is lying, but like
he is.
Do we believe that? Like, I believe it's true to a certain extent. I believe that Tua does have a nice deep ball because we have seen it.
We've seen it in college.
Right. When he sets his feet, when he's doing fine, when he isn't rushed, when he's perfectly fine in the pocket.
Yeah, and I've heard the same thing about Fields.
Just right and the air's just right.
You said the same thing about who?
The same thing about Fields. You know what I mean? Like where these guys, these young quarterbacks, and yeah, I've seen tape where they look good in the pocket, but that's when they have a clean pocket and nobody really getting in their faces. You know what I mean?
And they're on one of the 5 best teams in the league.
And how often does that happen?
In college, you know.
Well, yeah, but in reality, how often are they going to have a clean pocket in the NFL and, not have to worry about that stuff?
Not with Von Miller on the field and some other guy.
It's not.
And those young guys. Those are young guys.
Because we never thought about who's going to be over there. So,
man.
But like that's my thing is like,
sorry,
why is he doing it that hard then? Because like they almost got him. They almost got him when they asked him about what like the differences between Tua and Pat, or no, who's better between Mahomes and Tua, and he just almost just like blurted out Mahomes.
And he should have.
Well, right, but then he was like, "Well, hold on, I gotta give it to my guy in the arm strength." But he's like, "But everything else, Tua." I'm like, "Is that really true?"
No.
Well, no. Again, I mean, I think Mahomes said a good point where he's starting a podcast. He wants to have something that people will pay attention to, and I think that was his way of doing it.
That's fair.
Like, I don't think he necessarily believes it. Like, you know what I mean? But I think, he just got paid how much money to go there, right? So, like, if you don't say that, you...
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Then they're
Miami,
just like...
I don't want to be here.
Why'd you just take all that money to be there? You know what I mean? And then also, again, like, he's starting a podcast. Let me say something to start this podcast up that'll bring some attention to me talking right now. And it's like the biggest thing is going to be him and Mahomes, and so it's like, okay, you knew that question was going to be brought. It's almost like the whole thing is staged just for You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like him sitting in a room, able to answer the question the way he wants to answer it. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a caught off guard. That wasn't like, somebody walking down the block and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And he just, that was thought through. Somebody asked him that question and he responded the way he's responded intentionally. You know what I mean? Like there was thought process behind that statement, I think, and the way he did it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair.
But yeah, so you're saying it's for show.
Just like still.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't care.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. I don't care what I honestly, like, if he thinks that practice is what is going to be it's going to be the same way in the game, right? I mean, but he can't think like that because he's played with Mahomes and seen him do that stuff in games. So it's like,
right.
How could you ever sit there and think that unless you've seen Tua do that in a game that one would ever be better than the other? You know what I mean? And that's where it's like you don't even have experience of dealing with him in a game to say whether that's the case or not, to be honest.
Right. Like you guys been playing pitch and catch in shorts.
Right.
Like in Miami weather. Like, of course.
Sure, he looks great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
When that video was released and they all freaked out about how terrible it was done.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Fournette and what they said about him too?
No.
That he came to camp at 260, 265.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're really unhappy about it. And so you let Rojo go. You let Ronald Jones go last year. I think you have like Keyshawn Vaughn or something like that. But
yeah.
I don't remember them drafting another running back. So, it's like it's him or bust at this point. And at 260, I mean, I think he's about a 225, 230 player at most. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just thought
so
that
you're
was
expecting
funny.
him to drop, 40, 45 pounds in like 2 months?
Yeah,
like,
it's insane.
Which players can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be heading down that Eddie Lacy route.
I was about to say the same thing. Because he just got slower, like, and
he still has that ability to run though.
He's just
what I
got
mean?
that powerful legs, like the powerful legs, like what?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever I had him in fantasy last year, so I watched him a lot, and whenever he'd put his shoulders down, it's that Marshawn Lynch, just shoulders down and legs keep moving. You know what I mean? So when you hit him, his legs are still moving. You know what I mean? And like that's what gives him the extra yards, or gets him through the tackles or whatever. But no, but it's a lack of discipline. Do you ever see? Give me another example of a great ever that happening to. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me an example of one of the best quarterbacks or even one of the best running backs, best wide receivers that come into camp that much overweight. I'll wait.
I'm trying to remember because there was somebody, but that just proves the point, right? That it was one person who's swimming around in the back of my head.
I know Moss was a nightmare certain times. You know what I mean? Like, but that it was never a weight issue. Locker. I know a lot of stars that are locker room issues. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But never come in, eat like, you know what I mean? Because I also think that longevity and that stuff in the NFL comes from taking care of yourself, right? So the best of the best and people who've been around the longest, you know what I'm saying? It's all about how they take care of their body. So to come in like that, it's like you're doing the opposite of what you want to do if you want, to me, sustain success in the NFL. But
no, I agree. And the thing is, I found this interesting when they took the Sabres rookies to Highmark Stadium, and the Sabres were like, or the rookies, when they asked them, and I've hit on this a million times, but like when they asked the rookies about like what they took away from it, they were like, it's great, it's a blah blah blah, which normal press things that they made them say. But then they were like, but the workout rooms and the health facilities and the kitchen and all that stuff, they're like, I've never seen anything like that anywhere. And like that was one of the things that, probably the smartest thing the Pagulas ever did.
Well, I mean, you had the players literally like be giddy over like when it was unveiled, like when they would talk about it, they would be like, "Ooh, never like, ooh, this is the best in the league, like this is top of the line." And,
like, even Von Miller said it. He's like, "This is gonna extend my career."
Yeah,
I mean, players say that all the time, and they need to do the same for the Sabres when they fix the stadium.
They got to win some stuff first, and then they'll get that,
unless they build a new whatever. But
yeah, that's true. They could build a new arena.
Yeah, I mean it was built
multi-purpose.
In 96. It's built in 96.
Bills Stadium, multi-purpose Bills Stadium.
Oh, not Bills, not the Bills Stadium. I'm saying for the Sabres.
No, I know. I'm saying make it a multi-purpose.
Oh God, people would freak out if you took the Sabres out of downtown. Oh my goodness!
Put them all in ECC, all together. Bandits, Bills, Sabres. F it, Bisons. Just put them all together.
An MLS team.
Yeah.
I think that's
never be able to schedule a concert.
I think that's the next stop.
Bring the Blizzards
Buffalo
back.
As an MLS team.
Bring the Blizzards back.
Well, it's outdoor soccer instead of like ping pong soccer. So
inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was crazy. It was really weird. Like with the walls and stuff. It was soccer with walls.
I remember them having arena football too. Us having a
football
team for a little bit.
Yeah,
that was weird. That was like,
yeah. I took you to a game and you freaked out, and we left at halftime.
Yeah, bad experience.
Yeah, I mean you were young, so
yeah. I still remember that.
So, so you were talking about running backs, Keyshawn Vaughn, like you said, Giovanni Bernard, Rashad White. Yeah, they re-signed him.
Oh, okay.
Rashad White was their draft pick. Right?
White, is that the big guy?
Let me
not
from Arizona State.
From Arizona State.
Zaire was the big one. White.
Yeah.
Zaire White. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one from Georgia.
Yeah, he's the big guy with Cooks.
James Cook.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Got you. You know what I was just thinking about? Speaking of like Bill's taking care of people and like their players with the facilities they have. Do you guys remember? I want to say first year of Allen's career when he had the injury, and it was speculated that it was serious elbow and conversation about Tommy John surgery, stuff like that.
Yeah, it lasted like what, a day?
Well, no, yeah. It was a little bit longer than that, but still, like,
it was like 4 games or something, right?
No, I meant like the talk of that.
The talk. I get what he was going with that.
Okay.
It definitely lasted maybe like 2 weeks, and then they got the answer on it. I was just sitting here thinking about like what it would be like right now had that actually been the case. You know what I mean? Like had he needed it.
That's where a storyline I haven't thought of was if Allen went down.
Well,
right,
I'm saying that early,
it would be a different season.
Well, 100%. I'm just saying, like, we would have, you know what I mean? Like, had that surgery not happen, or had he had to have that surgery, maybe we're in a totally different, situation than, because his development would slow, I would assume, you know what I mean? Because of that.
Because he'd have to, he'd have to fix
We'd be trading for Sam Darnold or something.
He'd have to fix his throwing motion, most likely. He'd have to repair how he threw the football, because obviously the way, you get Tommy John surgery, you need Tommy John surgery right from like the way you throw it, because I'm thinking of like the way a pitcher,
it's a little different. Like it can be different in the NFL,
but that's true. But I'm just thinking of like I'm trying to compare it to like a pitcher that we see all the time,
right?
And generally it's like, oh yeah, he threw the baseball weird his entire life. Makes sense. He needs Tommy John.
Yeah, like
Josh
Allen,
right. Yeah. But like Josh Allen came into the league, it did have a weird throwing motion, so it did make sense when he got hit like that. But I think like he would lose velocity, he would lose power. I don't think
not necessarily. A lot of players have come back from Tommy John surgery and been fine.
But I don't
including
think
Tommy
he'd
John.
have that same deep. Like I don't know. I don't think he'd have the same arm and that same zip. Like it would still be there because he would still be young. But like, yeah.
I mean,
we
then
might still be sitting here going, is Allen the guy?
Right.
did he go to the Super Bowl? Did he go to the playoff second year of his second year of his career?
Yep.
Okay, so say he's not, on the field that second year, right, or whatnot because of some serious injury or whatever. Was Burrow then the next year or no?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? Like we could have ended up with him had we.
No, they weren't going to do it. Cleveland.
You know
like
what I mean?
Manziel.
Yeah.
Well, or you're talking about like a Kyler Murray situation where they just drafted Rosen. I think is more more close to what you're getting
Rosen's
at.
our guy.
Yeah. And then Kyler. You know what I mean? Like that's how the NFL is though. They'll say that till they're blue in the face, and then my chair broke. Oh my god. They'll say that till they're blue in the face, and then production goes on.
The NFL says
production goes on. What is it? What do they say? The show must go on. Just pretend like it didn't happen and just keep talking.
I don't think that I think they would have given Allen his third year and been like, okay, you're recovered.
Oh, of course.
Full year. I don't think they would have drafted anybody, is what I'm saying. I think they would have waited.
I think they would have gotten a very good backup.
Yeah. We're not running in here with Case Keenum, and we're running with Drew Lock or something.
You got your shot. You got your shot in third year. Yeah, you don't make it. We got somebody else.
Yeah,
basically,
or somebody, or Teddy Bridgewater, who can be the bridge quarterback. Yeah, and then can come in when Allen sucks to take over. But yeah, I mean, I think there would be a chance here. Because I mean, you're right. You lose in that second year, right? They make the playoffs, so that increased Buffalo's thought of, oh my God, this is a team on the rise. And even though Josh played bad, he still played well in that game enough for people to be like, maybe we were wrong about them. We were wrong about him. So then you lose that. So you lose all that. So you lose the ability to sign guys. Does the Stephon Diggs trade still happen?
Before you finish, what do you think was the catalyst to Allen's career? Because I'll tell you a game that I feel like was the catalyst for his
Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Let's go further back, dude. I'd even say he went against Houston the first time in the playoffs, correct?
Yeah.
Going against that Houston game, losing in the playoffs like that, I've always heard him talk about that game, or I've heard him talk about
it hurt.
Yes. And that game to me is huge as far as his understanding of the NFL, his want to be the best player he can be, stuff like that, for situations like that not to happen again. You know what I mean? Basically. And it always felt like that game was huge for him and his development as far as being an NFL quarterback.
For him mentally.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so that game doesn't happen either. Right. So
sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, unless, right. Well.
Okay, but think about when he got injured with the elbow. That was halfway through the season already.
Yeah. That's why I said, well.
Yeah.
So, never mind.
I mean, Tommy John is about.
It's a year.
Yeah. For a year, and then for a quarterback, even at a year, are you gonna put him in a game? You know what I mean? Halfway through a season,
and tell him to whip it.
Yeah,
his. No, what's his?
I mean, okay, let's say it was exactly a year. I mean, most likely he's not getting the Tommy John surgery. Maybe until,
he's getting it right away.
If he's getting it right away, right? But if we didn't know for 2 weeks, so he's not getting it until there's 4 weeks left in the season. So you're only gonna So are you gonna put him in for the last 4 weeks and be like,
No.
I agree. Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing about Allen. I do think there will come a year when he's out for the season.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's going to come when he's 27, 28.
Okay, he's 26 right now.
Okay, it's gonna come when he's like 29 or 30.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I just like, yeah, it's gonna come because I mean, like, he's not gonna stop
Yeah.
no matter what they tell him. I mean, he's still gonna run when he wants to run. I don't know, like, even if they're like, don't run on this play ever. If he has that opportunity and he needs to do it, he's still gonna do it.
This is
100%.
where I think Ken Dorsey comes in. I think he's going to call more running plays, right? I mean, in general, he's going to call not Allen running plays.
Oh,
But
okay. Because I was like, I think Dorsey's gonna be like, you are a quarterback. You are in the pocket.
to a point. Okay, Allen had what, 800 yards last year?
On the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get around 500 this year.
Yeah.
But I think he had like what, 4,800 throwing yards?
Yeah. I
think he gets like 5,500. So I mean, there's your difference.
right.
I mean, you have to believe in Gabe Davis. You have to believe in Diggs. You know, I mean, you have to sort of have these things, and things need to fall right. You have to believe in Knox,
right,
and or OJ Howard.
Yeah.
You know, and you just have to believe that receiver core is deep enough,
right,
to fill the positions they need.
Right. You're also trusting that Gabe Davis.
That's what I said first.
Okay.
Yeah, that Davis is the animal everyone's expecting him to be.
Right. This doesn't get to his head.
Yeah. I mean, Davis has the opportunity to be Mike Evans, right?
You know, CJ, you like Mike Evans. Do you agree with that?
Davis?
I can see that.
Isn't Davis primarily slot right now? Or no? Like,
no, he's outside.
But in the playoffs, he didn't, like, a lot of those touchdowns didn't come from the slot.
No, I think almost all of those touchdowns came from him sitting in the slot.
That's what I thought. But from what I watched, I remember being in the middle of the field, and most times he's making contested catches or zoning right in the middle of the field, finding a zone where he can sit and kind of.
I don't know. I would have to rewatch the touchdowns, which I'm sure are on YouTube. So
I just recall him being open across the middle a lot. You know what I mean? And then,
but I think he was just cutting across. Like, I don't know that
there was at least one or two where it was just Allen. Literally, like, he was in the slot. Allen. It literally looked like Allen went to Davis, run straight, and I'll get it to you, like, somewhere over there in the end zone.
Yeah, if it wasn't the tying touchdown, you know what I mean? It was the one right before it where he hit him. But no. So when I think of Evans, I think of very heavily perimeter orientated receiver who is high point. Great in the red zone. I'm not there on Davis in the red zone yet. I'm thinking he's more of a, like, to score. He's going to score from 25 or more out rather than 5 out. You know what I mean? So
how much weight did he gain?
It's tough. He'd have to get height, to be, because Evans is huge guy.
He gained like 25 pounds in muscle. It's not like a Fournette deal. He's coming in like ready to do this, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm underestimating
CJ beforehand. Like, yeah, he ran a lot out of the slot, but I don't think that's their plan this year, because I don't think so. Bring back Isaiah McKenzie with the idea that you're going to have Gabe Davis fighting in that position,
and you don't sign Crowder.
Yeah,
either.
To be that insurance.
So they have a plan for him that is not involving of. I mean, honestly, though, those two things just still make me feel like they're not confident in him.
They've said straight out that they have wicked confidence in him. They have wicked confidence in him to win the job, but they don't have. I don't think. But I think if he was, like, I think if he didn't pan out. Oh, well, not like didn't pan out, but like couldn't be wide receiver 2, or they had to go back to the drawing board, they would be like, oh my God, we're completely blown away by this. Like, I think there's because I think there's still a small. I agree with CJ. I think there's still a small chance here that, yeah, this goes to like this gets to Davis or
Well, there's been so much talk about how good he's going to be.
yeah.
And I mean, that's the scary part, right? Is like,
Yeah, the hype train.
yeah.
Right.
So,
That
I
hype
mean,
train is awful.
we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. So when we talk to him next,
But I think the 25. I think adding 25 pounds of muscle answers your question, though. You know,
in
like,
what sense?
in the sense of like juxtapose it to the Leonard Fournette, right? Like
Right.
he went out and added 25 pounds of muscle. You know what I mean? Because he wants to be ready to step up. You know what I mean? To take on these challenges, to be able to do what he expects to be able to do, and the team expects him to be able to do. You know what I mean? So I just think that's a positive sign as far as like how he takes it and the challenge he takes. You know, which is what you want to see, as opposed to the opposite, which would be like not and gaining 40 pounds of, you know, just fat.
I just think this year's going to be interesting because I think like obviously there's going to be a depth chart, but I think like it's just overall you're going to have wide receiver 1 Diggs, tight end 1 Knox, and then every other receiving option after that, and Josh gets to choose.
I just think Davis is gonna be WR2, or they would have signed somebody seriously.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to get his shot at the 2 position for sure.
I think they would have.
Yeah,
They would have
for
signed
sure.
somebody much more. They would have been much more serious about.
I mean, yeah, I think if he shows it, yeah, he'll get his wide receiver 2 time, but like I'm not going to be surprised if I don't know, in certain situations he's not out there for like James Cook.
Like instead of
something like
80% of the snaps, he
Yeah.
gets 60 or something.
yeah, like in one game or something like that. Like I'm not going to be shocked by that because like I honestly think it's going to be Diggs, Knox, and then they're just going to try to use. Because I mean, like I don't think you draft James Cook
So
without that idea,
The-
that you want your options.
the other, well, Cook is getting a lot of run, right?
Yeah.
But the other person who's getting a lot of hype is Knox.
Yeah.
And that's scary too.
Well, it's
To me,
deserved. I think, but it's deserved, you know. And even in the Davis thing, like to do what he did on the highest stage, like you're gonna have more viewers on you at that point, and then you're gonna have more people that be like, "Oh, he's gonna be great." And same with Knox. I think he played very well last year, so the hype is deserved, but they just can't let it go to their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you saw that last year, and you gotta hope that they're. Because I mean, I felt like they did recognize it, that it did go to their head last year, but I think you also gotta hope that they still keep that in there. But I think again, that's why you put so much money into Von Miller, because Von Miller seems like the type of leader to be like grab you by the face mask and be like, "Shut up! Like you haven't won anything, you haven't done anything."
On the defensive
what I mean? Like
side,
kind of one of those
On
guys.
on the defensive side. I mean, they really stay apart, don't they?
No. No.
I really
think
feel like
guys go
I
out
feel like
and
Diggs.
guys-
I feel like Diggs might be that guy.
But I feel like it's different. Okay. It's different when you're talking about a guy like Von Miller, because I feel like a guy like Von Miller, everybody will listen to, because he's won 2 Super Bowls. You know, he's done it. He's done great things in the league. So he's one of the guys. I mean, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So I feel like no matter what position you're in, there's always something to learn from Von Miller. But like when it comes to Stephon Diggs, like Stephon Diggs, I think is going to stay on the offense and be like, okay, offense, let's see what we can do. But when it comes to Von Miller, I bet you Von Miller is one of the first guys talking to the whole team. I bet you like McDermott is using him a lot in that way, because
I love you, Josh
that's the
Allen.
type of guy that Miller is. And that's also the type of guy you want talking.
Well, maybe he does the breakdowns. It's
yeah.
I mean, Allen does the breakdowns. So
I just think
it's
it
hard to
depends
think.
on what type of leader they are, I guess, and what they've done.
But they've built Allen into that guy.
Well, Allen is just the rallier for everybody, because I mean, what does everybody say all the time? Oh yeah, we'll die for that guy, right? Like,
right.
And on both sides of the ball, like we'll die for him, you know.
They're his Secret Service.
Right. We are your...
And they save their tax.
Right. We are brothers, you know, or like...
Yeah. I mean...
And I feel like that's what you do get with the quarterback, right? So
do you think then that who else on the offensive side of the ball is there to do that? I think Dawkins maybe, but he's also like a snowman, you know, like
Isn't Morris that main guy or no?
Morse, yeah, Morse would be that guy. Morse would be the same. Morse to me would be at the same level as Miller.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to talk to everybody, and everybody will shut up and listen. I'm not saying that they won't do that with Diggs and they won't do that with Allen, but like I also don't feel like Diggs is gonna do that.
I think if Diggs got serious on them,
everybody would listen.
Everybody would
listen. I'm not saying they
like
wouldn't, but I'm just saying like he's not gonna go out of his
hey
way
guys,
to do that.
what the is going on?
Yeah.
Like they would all be like, what?
Well, I mean, if they had a player only meeting, I mean, he would be one of the guys to talk.
Well, if they have player only meetings, something is going very wrong with the organization, right? I mean, in the season,
yeah. Generally, player only meetings lead to people getting fired or teams turning it around and saving people's jobs. There's no in between.
Yeah. So if Diggs now if Davis now weighs like 230, let's say, is there another comparison out there? If he really is like ripped and
Metcalf.
Yeah, but I don't know that he has that breakaway speed that Metcalf has. That's why I was thinking of Evans. I mean, I know he's 3 inches shorter, but
I agree with CJ. Like Evans, though, in the red zone is just like methodical, and like we haven't been able to see that out of Davis. Besides, being able to score.
What we've seen out of Davis is freak athleticism, though.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with that, but maybe not freak athleticism.
Yeah, I
but
don't know. I just
top of the line athleticism.
I would say definitely, like you said, top of the line athleticism, but also a knowledge of where to be at. You know what I mean? Like a good relationship with Allen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Because sometimes that'll make guys that aren't as athletic look. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
seem like they are.
Yeah, that's very true. And you know, like it's interesting though. Like we talk about these guys, and like we were talking about like what their problems were coming out of college. Because like the problem with Davis was not that good footwork, doesn't really know where to put himself, has a very limited route tree, and all those things have been disproved. Knox might not be able to catch that ball that well, should probably just be converted to a wide receiver or running back. Freak athleticism. One of those things have been proven, and both of those have been proven false. That he's a tight end, he's a freak tight end, he's the next generation of the tight ends that are coming in. You know, that are these Darren Wallers,
he's with Kittle,
right?
Or a poor man's Kittle, a poor man's
Kelsey,
Kelsey,
Yeah, he's among that group.
Who's just a level below those top tier guys.
He was compared to Terrence Williams,
not that fast,
coming into
not that
draft.
strong, can't catch, which this year in the second half has been disproven, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just find
that can't catch.
Not that fast, not that strong, can't fight off tackles, can only make guys miss with his feet, with his footwork, can't make guys,
Well, we're a Dawson Knox fan club, aren't we?
Oh, I mean, hell yeah.
Dawson Knox and Nebraska volleyball.
The two weirdest combinations. All right.
He probably wouldn't mind. So, word on the street, Jimmy Garoppolo on the trade block for real. Yeah. That he's throwing now.
Yeah.
Where to? First place I've heard is Seattle.
Yeah.
Second place I've heard is New England.
Tampa I have Brady and
I have a hard time thinking Seattle because they're within the division. Unless the 49ers are just like, we don't believe in it. Like completely.
If you're the 49ers, though, you couldn't do that.
I mean, it depends on what Seattle's offering.
That's
but,
true. I mean, if Seattle's like, we'll give you 2 first-round picks for him.
Well, they're not going to do that.
I know.
It'll be like, we'll give you a third.
Honestly, I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
What are you losing? You get to play Trey Lance.
We'll give you a
and,
third in Drew Lock.
Like, whatever. If I'm the 49ers, I'm like, he's like, go. Get off my team. I'm done. I'm done with you.
And he's done with them. So
Right.
Are there other teams out there like who
Minnesota?
should take a look? Why? Cousins is locked. Well, he's going to be I just see Cousins as their starter for the next 80 years in Minnesota. Any thoughts, CJ?
I'm just trying to think of, landing spots. I mean, if you're the Browns, right? I guess you figure out.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess you figure out the Watson situation before you get him.
Yeah.
Panthers obviously no now.
Right.
And you got the Seahawks, which would be about it, I would say. And the Seahawks have
If
seen
you're
him
the
more than anybody
Texans,
else.
I mean, would you go after him?
But the problem is he's old. Like yes, he's still a good quarterback, but like, isn't he like 30? So it's like you could sit there if he was
He's
like
30.
Okay,
Is he
so
that
you
old?
could sit there like if this was like
I don't
say
think
we're
that's
talking
old.
about Sam Darnold. Well, no, because what I'm about to say will make sense. But if you're sitting there talking about somebody like Sam Darnold, you could sit there and say, "Oh, he can just go sit behind like Matt Ryan in Indy." But you can't say that with Garoppolo because it's like, why? Like Matt Ryan's like what, 38?
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're Atlanta, you don't take him and Mariota and just say good luck and have fun and go at it and see what happens.
Right.
If you're Atlanta, yeah. But I'm saying like for these teams with like the older quarterbacks, like I don't know if like I don't think Indy would want to do that and then walk right into the same scenario. Like why? Like I think they're just like, okay, when Ryan's gone, we're gonna start over. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna draft somebody.
Convince Andrew Luck to come out of retirement.
Yeah, right. Every single time they talk to him and show him on TV, he's like, "Yeah, I'm in love with my family, and I'm never coming back to football." Best decision I ever made. I still remember my kids' names still right now.
So
It's tough because it's like,
you know what's weird though is like we talk about the dearth of quarterbacks, right?
yeah,
I mean, in that there's really a problem with quarterbacks in the league, but then we go, okay, there's a competent one out there that someone can get, and where do you put them?
right. Because it's like these teams, because it's also these teams can just wait until there's this next group, which is like going to be like Spencer Rattler and Justin Fields and all these top tier guys. Not Justin Fields, the other kid that's in Ohio right now. There's another guy.
Trey Young? Is it not Trey Young?
Yeah, it's
Trey Young. No, it's Young something though.
It is.
yeah. CJ, no.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we got
No.
there.
Is that who it is?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is CJ Stroud.
CJ
Okay.
Stroud. Bryce Young
That's
from
who I was-
Alabama.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
There's four quarterbacks who are supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. So it's like, do you want to take this chance on Garoppolo? And then if you're one of these teams, are you going, okay, if we take this chance on Garoppolo, then what are we saying? How long are we planning to keep Garoppolo for? Because we're definitely going to lose out on one of these quarterbacks.
Mm.
That quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levis,
Levi's.
puts
Levis.
mayo in his coffee.
Anyway,
Get out.
that's
Get out.
awful. That's awful.
Out.
That's got to be a Southern
Like,
thing.
it's
right?
not a little bit. No. He took the mayo and went, and then stirred it,
Anyway,
and it was white.
I said anyway.
No, you guys had to share it with me because if I had to see the video, then you both had to visualize
Oh,
it.
thank you.
That's awful.
Yeah.
It was. It's mayo. Like, come on. Why? Exit the premises. Get out of the building and go home. Like, think about what you're doing.
6 quarterbacks projected for the first round
Yeah.
next year.
I think, honestly, Seattle makes the only logical place because Seattle doesn't have draft picks, and Seattle also goes like either 8-8 or they just miss the playoffs. Like they win stupid games for no reason because they're just Seattle,
And that's
they're
what
in those
Garoppolo
games.
does.
Right.
Garoppolo does the same thing. Like you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why did
Like
you
that
just
game
throw
against
for
Dallas? How?
Right.
How?
Right. But
Like-
if you're a team, right? Say you're the Bengals, would you go, well, if Burrows goes down, I at least have a competent backup.
Yeah, but
I think the asking price is going to be too high when you're going to have Burrow paid in what year?
What's Garoppolo's contract? I would need to see it.
Probably 25 mil a year.
You think so? There he is, Jimmy G.
It is price. He has a 26.95 cap hit this year.
Jeez.
But he's
What did I
he's a
say?
UFA next year.
Average salary 27.5.
Okay, so he
He's-
counts
for
for
one
30
year.
million against the cap for one season.
Okay, but then if you're that, oh my God, then this makes it even difficult because why do you want to take a chance on him for one season and not re-sign with you and go to try to win a starting job somewhere else?
And your odds of Burrow getting a catastrophic injury again is probably low.
You love those odds things.
But even if you're Seattle,
helps me feel better about things
do you want to build around a 30-year-old Jimmy Garoppolo?
and worse.
You just tried to do that with Russell Wilson and couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Russell
Well,
Wilson.
they
is
did.
pretty sure
They
he's
won a
older.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. But that wasn't also building around Wilson when he was older.
No, it was
Yeah.
building around the defense. I get it. But
Russell Wilson's 33. I was right. Yeah. So you're building
for you.
around.
I don't know. I just think
Yeah.
that there are teams out there who would say
He'll get traded. I don't think he'll be released, honestly. I think he'll be traded,
No.
to be honest. Yeah.
What about the
I just don't know
Packers?
where.
I mean,
4
you have
years with-
Rodgers there.
Yeah.
He's not going to be challenged by Garoppolo.
But what about Jordan Love? I mean, are you just giving up?
Oh,
on
they're
him?
giving up on Jordan Love.
Yeah. I think you could trade Jordan Love to
Seattle.
San Francisco.
I mean, it's Trey Lance's team, right?
It's Trey Lance's team.
Okay.
I think you could trade Love to Seattle, honestly.
Have a fight it out with Drew Lock.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, because like it's difficult. I
How
mean,
about the Titans?
God, I guess you got to see how. If you're the Titans, do you really want to do it again?
No, but you want a backup, right?
Who's the exact same?
Who's the exact same player, so you don't have
But
to.
didn't they just draft Ritter?
No, that was Atlanta, right?
That's true in Atlanta. If you think that Ritter
Well,
can
CJ
win the job,
CJ said, "Oh, I see what you're saying."
I mean, if your idea is he's going to win the job,
I don't think that's the plan. I think they're going to stick with Mariota.
stupid.
There's no way that Ritter's going to show more in practice than Mariota is.
Malik
It's
Willis.
just not happening.
Malik Willis went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Remember, he dropped into the second round.
Okay, but do you want him as your backup, as your number one backup? If you're a playoff bound team coming out of Liberty, I mean, I just have a
Okay. He only went to Liberty after going to Auburn, all right? Stop trashing on the Liberty. Jesus. First of all, Malik Willis is a very good quarterback. He was the number 1 rated quarterback in the draft. Now, he wasn't the first quarterback taken, but he should have been. Honestly, I think out of all the quarterbacks in that draft,
why are you
he
getting
is
like a
going
New
to be
Jersey
the best
accent?
quarterback. Liberty's in New Jersey,
Is it?
isn't it?
No.
Liberty City is.
I thought it was like in the South somewhere.
Oh, it's in Virginia. Whatever.
Yeah, I think
Oh, right.
Liberty City's in New Jersey.
Yeah, Liberty's like not even Division 1.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Hold on. Because they played like
No, they're
Division 1. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
What?
Hugh Freeze. Right.
Well, I could have told you that. I knew that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm any of these teams, if I'm any of these teams, I would sit there and go, and I had the cap space, I think I would think about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Unless it would change, unless it would be a challenge to your starter.
See, here's the thing. Sure, as a backup, sure. It's a thinkable
Like if
thing.
you're the
But
Cowboys,
even when you're thinking about like the teams, right, with the hey, that might not be a bad idea for the Cowboys, honestly. But when you're thinking about like even teams that are putting him bad on, like the problem is like if you're those teams, these teams also don't have anything else. Seattle's defense is atrocious. Their offensive line is atrocious. They don't have a run game.
so if you're Garoppolo, you're going out there to play for another contract, which means he's ready to wing it and sling it.
Right, and then if you're Seattle, though, why are you going to give up the draft pick for a guy who's probably just going to leave? And then I feel the same way with Atlanta.
Well, I think Atlanta's out. I don't think they're going to do it with Atlanta.
I don't know. I think I'm with. I mean, I think they're really.
Unless there's a
draft.
starter who they want to push. Like,
It's
what
usually
about the Jets? Like, if they want to push Wilson, right? And say, hey, you may not start, dude.
They're not going to do that.
I don't know. There's a lot of options. I mean, the Raiders, I don't know who their backup is. You know, Chargers, I don't know. Oh, it's
Garoppolo doesn't
where
have
did
any
Tyrod
say,
go?
right?
No, Garoppolo doesn't have any say
Okay, so
unless he retires.
well, even if he retired and then unretired, he would still stay with San Francisco.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, like because I mean, like I'm just thinking about how teams value the draft, value that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, it's because these teams don't have other pieces. So why do you want to give up the cat? Like it's just, yeah, Garoppolo may not be that old, but 30 years old is
not old for a quarterback. It's just not.
But to build around one, to at least not come into a roster that's kind of there.
Look who just retired. Roethlisberger retired at 38.
Yeah.
Right? Brady's playing at 42. Right?
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying Garoppolo is on those levels or is on those health levels, but I mean, these guys are playing well into their mid to late 30s at a high level. I mean, Roethlisberger definitely fell off, but he was still making throws, short throws. No, short slants, right? I mean,
Kinda.
but that's what they built around him. They built short slants.
Him and Drew Brees. Yep.
Well, Breeze
know.
Breeze was way better than Roethlisberger at the end of his career. Breeze played till he
No.
was 40.
Yeah, but the last year with Breeze was after the injury. I don't know if it was the injury that year or just the age, but came back after Winston started for him, and for a few games, or I think it might have been Hill, and then he did not look.
Hill.
He couldn't throw a ball downfield, but I know he had a shoulder injury. Excuse me. So I think that had a lot to do with why he was throwing messed up.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, last topic.
Okay. What we got?
Trey White.
What about him?
So they're saying the most that he'll miss. They're saying, okay. I had this in my head. So they're saying the most that he'll miss is the first month.
Okay. So 3 to 4 games. Okay.
3 to 4 games. They're saying he may be able to start, but the Bills don't want to push him.
Okay.
So they're thinking like the Bills are going to be conservative and start just hold him off unless Jackson turns out to be terrible.
Okay.
Right?
So Elam's starting.
Starting.
Right, which is what? Yeah, okay.
So your two starters probably for the first 4 games are Elam and Jackson.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've talked about that before.
Well, we're going to talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Because we have 50 days.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
So we're going to do previews. We're going to do all that stuff. But that's the latest news on Trey that I got. First month.
That's not terrible. That's manageable. As long as Elam and Dane Jackson don't shit the bed.
Right. You just need Elam and Jackson to not suck.
I did see that Von Miller
I think it's up in our room.
and Ed Oliver were trying to recruit Joe Hayden.
Nah. I think you go with who you got. I think they'll carry 6.
Yeah.
They'll put Trey on. They'll put him on the 4-week,
Yeah.
whatever, reserve list. Right?
They'll put him on the pup list so they can bring him back.
After 4 weeks.
So, they'll bring him back. They'll put him on the pup so they can bring him back before the season starts and then have him count and then just have him just sit injured.
No, I think they'll put him on the 4-week list. I know I keep saying
I
that.
don't know if there is a 4-week list.
There is.
Okay.
There's a 4-week injury list.
Some got added because of COVID. Where there's like there is a shorter. The pup is like 6 weeks, and then there's a 4-week.
I don't even know how that would be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So that's the latest I have on Trey. We're done. We're not going to talk NBA because that would just take us down a rabbit hole. And it's been a long, winding road today.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Wow.
But we got like 100 views or so. So, Noah, take us home.
Okay. Community N, we appreciate you for watching. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Interact with us on Twitter at Gameday716.
Did you end it?
No. Okay. No.
Stay
Things
sa-
just got weird. Anyway, remember to
I can't
interact with
hear
us on Twitter at Gameday716. And as always, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.
Vote blue.